and taking the lead from what you said, that non-profits, μη κερδοσκοπικές δηλαδή, ότι έχουν ίσως να μάθουν πιο πολλά από τις κερδοσκοπικές εταιρείες. Θέλω να δώσω το λόγο στον Michael Dimitropoulos, να σας πω δύο λόγια απ' όλα για τον Μιχάλη. Ο Μιχάλης είναι κάποιος, είναι στην κάρτα που τον έχουν ακούσει, είναι investment manager of PJ Technopolis. Θα μιλήσω στα αγγλικά για να μας παρακολουθεί και ο Hans. He previously, I'm talking about the next picture here. He previously served as head of research of the Piraeus BCPE Group. Michael joined Piraeus Bank Group in June 2001. He was Director of Research and Investment Strategy at Hellenic Investment Company, the bank's listed closed-end fund subsidiary, until September 2005, and subsequently worked as a senior investment officer in the bank's wealth management division before joining the BCPE Group in September 2009. Previously, he worked as investment associate at Global Finance, head of research at Europol Group, and chief analyst at National Securities. Καθαρό προφίλ από τον τραπεζικό κλάδο. Του ζήτησα να έρθει σήμερα να μας πει πώς κοιτάνε οι επενδυτές, παραδοσιακοί τραπεζίτες, να το πω έτσι, αυτοί με τα γκρι, όπως το έλεγα, δεν τον κοροϊδεύω, να μας πει λίγο πώς βλέπουν τις προσπάθειές μας στον πολιτισμό, στο να γίνουμε πιο επιχειρηματικοί, να βάλουμε το business μέσα στη δουλειά μας και τι κοιτάνε εν τέλει οι επενδυτές στις εταιρείες.
Thank you. Καλησπέρα σε όλους και από μένα. I'm going to talk to you in English so that the previous speaker can also understand the presentation. I'm Michael Dimitropoulos. I'm an investment manager at PJ Technopolis. I'm just going to tell you a few words about what is PJ Technopolis and what we are doing. I am from venture capital. PJ Technopolis is a venture capital fund which is part of the venture capital and private equity group of Piraeus Bank. The fund started in September 2012. It is a venture capital fund that invests exclusively in technology startups at a very early stage, at the seed stage. And it is a Jeremy fund. The investors in the fund are the EIF, the European Investment Fund, and Piraeus Bank, with percentages 70% for the EIF and 30% for Piraeus Bank. It is a 15 million fund, and we can invest up to 750,000 euro per company. Usually we do not invest the maximum amount at the time of our initial investment in a new company. We typically invest an amount ranging from 150 to 400,000 euros initially, and then if things go well and the project is successful, we keep an amount to be able to participate together with other investors in the next funding round of the company. So that's for what we are doing. So today we are talking about cultural entrepreneurship, so you may be wondering what is this guy doing here today. But actually, I think that cultural entrepreneurship is a very interesting space, a space with many interesting opportunities. And it is a space which may be potentially attractive to venture capital investors and in any case to investors in general. Even our fund, which is not focused on cultural entrepreneurship, has seen a number of projects in that field with great interest, and we are actually currently in negotiations to do an investment in the broader cultural entrepreneurship space as we speak. So this is something that is very interesting. And actually I'm happy to be here today because this event I think is a good opportunity to come closer to each other. I mean, to bridge the perceived gap between the cultural world on the one hand and the business and financial world on the other hand. So I would like just to say a few things today in a short presentation about how we approach things in general as an investor, and I think that we and you can think of how these things can be important to you as well in what you are doing, because these are very simple things. The things we look at as an investor are very simple things that are very important for cultural enterprises as well. First slide, which wants to tell you that building an enterprise in general, be it any commercial enterprise or a cultural enterprise, is a long and a tough journey. It takes a lot of effort. A startup typically from the ID stage, the so-called pre-seed stage, goes through many different steps and stages in its life, with the initial formation of the team, the setup and the development of the team and the company, the building of a product or service, initially a prototype and eventually a commercial product, identifying and refining the product market fit, working on early commercialization, and eventually scaling up the business. So it's many different steps, and if you are successful, you eventually go through multiple rounds of financing. So a successful company has to negotiate and successfully close a series of financing rounds to fuel the company's growth, to accelerate the company's growth as you progress. But this takes a lot of time and effort. Next one, yes. And there are many challenges. I mean, this is not easy. We are really working close to 24/7 with a lot of very young companies. Companies really starting from zero. We invest in companies usually when they are building an initial prototype or first version of their product, trying to find the right product market fit, and then working on the initial go-to-market and commercialization. It's very hard. There are a lot of difficulties, and to tell you the truth, because we need to be honest, I mean, if you look at the numbers, it is a fact that startups, the vast majority of startups actually fail. If you look at the statistics for the US market, which is the biggest and most developed market, you will see that statistically, if today 100 startups start, after 5 months, half of them will have already died, and at best, about 25 of them will still be alive after 18 months. So it's really tough work, and what I think you should try to do, even if we are talking about the cultural enterprise, and what we are doing as investors, is try to find certain very important ingredients in a team, in a company, so that at least we can try to maximize the chances of success, because it's very hard to succeed. So yeah, some points about what we could consider as a good idea in general. Very briefly, because this is very broad. I mean, you need to be very specific and have a very clear idea of what you want to do. I think it's very important also to start an enterprise based on a real need. So trying to address a real problem or a market need, not something vague or which is not a real problem. Try to have a clear differentiation. I mean, when you think about competitive advantage, I would say that competitive advantage has to be based on in what can you be the best, better than anyone else. Not in everything, but in some things you need to be better than anyone else and to have some unique differentiation compared to what already exists. Okay, so what are these very simple things that we are looking at when we look at a project? And when we look at cultural entrepreneurship projects, this also applies. I mean, there is no differentiation. I mean, I would like to open a parenthesis because, I initially talked about, bridging the gap and yes, I would like to say that I think that the things that we care about when we look at commercial enterprises is also true for cultural enterprises, either they are non-for-profit or commercially oriented organizations. I mean, what do we think that you should care about? I mean, you should care about developing a viable and sustainable concept and business model. You need to think about not relying too much on public subsidies, because today you may get a subsidy, tomorrow you may not be able to get a public subsidy or a grant. I think it's very important for you to think about how you can develop a recurring revenue-generating model, something that will be sustainable. Because if you are sustainable, you will eventually be able to create something of lasting value, and you will be able to create the foundations for something to grow in the future. So, what are we looking for to see if you have a competitive advantage? So if you are better than what already exists and have an added value compared to what already exists. It's very important for you, actually for any entrepreneur, to have a very good understanding of the market that you are targeting. Because that will help you to find the best way to target and to address that market and to go to the market and to market your product in the right way. And it's important for you to understand the competition also. Exactly because you need to understand the competition first to see what you are bringing as an added value and what's your competitive advantage and how you will differentiate your product or service. One minute. Okay. Okay. So you need to have pay attention to your team. That's also something which is extremely important. You need, before you start, you need to make sure that you have a team which is highly committed, which has the appropriate mix of skills. If we are talking about a cultural entrepreneurship business, because we are currently looking at an investment in that field, you need to have both the subject matter expertise, maybe the specific artistic expertise, the networking capability in that space, also the technical capabilities, and also make sure that you have, the business side, business development, sales, the business part of the equation. It's very important. And make sure that all your team members have the right skills and the right mindset also before you start. Okay, that's more or less. Yeah, and okay, you need to have also a long-term strategy. I would say that that's also an important point. I mean, you need to know where you want to go, what you want to do, and how you intend to go there. I mean, what's your strategy to reach your big goal, your objectives? So I would say that in the field of cultural entrepreneurship, if you want to set up a viable business, you need to think like any entrepreneur. I mean, you need to have an entrepreneurial mindset and you need to pay attention to the business aspects. I do not believe that the two worlds are disassociated. I mean, these general things that an investor looks at are also important for a cultural enterprise. So